The key witness in the U.S. government's case against Julian Assange was recently jailed in Iceland, an invocation of a rare Icelandic law that permits the jailing of serial criminals if they're believed to be in the throes of an active crime spree. Iceland's authorities have justified Sigurdur Siggi Thordarsson's arrest of a large and growing number of cases of financial fraud against him. The Icelandic news outlet Stundin previously reported that Thordarson admitted to fabricating statements in which he accused Assange of directing him to hack U.S. government databases. His original and now debunked testimony forms the crux of Assange's prosecution. Joining us now to discuss is co-host of the Useful Idiots podcast and friend of the show, Katie Halper. Welcome, Katie.
Thanks for having me.
And I think I misspoke in the top. He was accused of hacking Icelandic banks, but it's all tied up in the U.S. Indictment. But what do you make of this latest revelation out of Iceland?
Well, I mean, I was just joking that it's hard to keep up with which crimes he committed because he is such a prolific criminal. But it just isn't out. I mean, I feel like I'm an insane person or going crazy because this story should be huge. The fact that the key witness in the case against Assange, first of all, he's such an unappealing and problematic key witness. This is a guy who admitted to sex crimes against underage boys. He's been accused of committing sex crimes against 9 underage boys. One of them, by the way, tragically killed himself. So not only is this a terrible person to have a key witness in your case, and he's also committed embezzlement, and he's been diagnosed as a sociopath, and this is your key witness, United States of America, United States Justice Department, this is your key witness against Assange. That's already bad enough. But then the key witness recants, admits that he lied. He made stuff up in order to get immunity from the FBI. And if we lived in a democracy or anything close to a democracy, or we had a justice system that remotely functioned, obviously after these revelations came out, Biden's Department of Justice would drop the charges. I mean, it's obscene. Well, and the media would be talking about this. Where's MSNBC? Where's the New York Times? What about this latest bombshell story about the CIA talking about kidnapping and killing Assange? Where is the outrage of that? I get it. You're all in the tank for Biden, fine. Can you at least report on what was done under Trump? This was Pompeo, right? That's a Trump guy. He talked about the CIA, his thing at the time, talked about killing and kidnapping Assange. And where is MSNBC on this? And where's the New York Times on this? And where's the Washington Post on this? I thought you guys cared about the rule of law. Where are you?
And about the free press, which we had to hear about democracy dying in darkness every single day from the Washington Post under Trump. And they would say truth matters now more than ever. Well, does it matter now more than ever?
No, it mattered more then.
It mattered more then. And so, Katie, let's keep pulling at this thread. You mentioned that it has something to do with the administration. They're all in the tank for Biden in the way that it wasn't for Trump. Also, they have relationships with people in the defense community, and I think sympathies with people in the defense community, the intelligence community. What do you think explains the media's disinterest in the Assange case and in a story like this, which should be covered not just on Rising and not just in sort of like left-wing publications, but more broadly? What do you think explains it?
And thank you for reminding me, because that's a whole other issue, right? Which is that we kind of forget, because of the media complicity, we forget that they're refusing to shed light on one of the biggest cases of persecution and dismantling of the free press and the First Amendment, right? That's also something the media should be upset about. And I think your question is a good one. Why is the media, why is the press itself, which could be subjected to this treatment, why are they so silent about this? And I think there are a couple of reasons. One is that what Assange did is really challenging media. It's challenging the gatekeepers. It challenges corporate media. It indicts people on, all sides of the aisle. It indicts, his WikiLeaks revealed things about politicians on both sides of the aisle. And I think that people also have this thing where they unfairly, I would say, blame Assange for the destruction of Hillary Clinton, or for Trump's win in 2016, which again, first of all, nothing he's charged with, and Ryan, you've done a lot of reporting on this, nothing he's charged with is related to 2016 at all. But people are so emotional about this. And also, let's say it were, and it's not. Again, it has nothing to do with 2016. Nothing he's charged with has anything to do with 2016. But also, you're not supposed to let that determine. That's not supposed to justify going after a free press, right? So even if, I mean, there's so many layers to this, but the cowardice and the silence from the actual press, which is being attacked, is stunning and disturbing and totally dystopian. And I still can't believe it. Every time I talk about it, it's like, is this the Twilight Zone? What is going on? Why are people totally ignoring this, regardless of your opinions of Assange as an individual? You know, what? Right. Why does that matter?
Right. If you have a principle, you have to set aside, you know, the fact that you don't like a particular person. But there is a huge irony in the way that, you know, he's really a victim of Russiagate, even though, as you said, none of the charges that he's hit with have anything to do with 2016. His charges are connected to revealing the U.S. war crimes in Iraq, with, you know, right. That Chelsea Manning leaked. So those are the charges. But it was two things related to Russiagate that really, you know, that prompted his downfall here. One was, you know, Democrats now just hate the guy. You know, partisan Democrats. They, like you said, they blame him for Trump winning, and then it was Trump winning, which actually Assange had hoped for, because he thought that there would be a less militaristic, you know, U.S. posture toward the world if Trump were in the White House and Democrats were constraining Trump, because he felt like if Clinton was in the White House, then Democrats would be encouraging her worst militaristic impulses. So you can think whatever you want about that analysis. That was his analysis. It turned out that Trump being in the White House is what led to the, you know, plots to like shoot out the tires of a Russian plane, puts Pompeo as, you know, CIA director and then State Department head. And, you know, here we are in this extradition fight, which is now being carried forward by the Biden administration because of, you know, the anger. I think because of the anger over what happened with 2016. So he's caught up. He's caught in the middle of this rock and his hard place. And it seems like there's no way out for him. Even the revelations that the CIA tried to kidnap or kill him. Even the revelations that the main witness is a criminal who's recanted. You know, how do you see this ever ending?
I mean, I think that Biden needs to be pressured to do the right thing. Right now, as of right now, Biden is siding with the Trump administration over the Obama administration, right? He is pursuing Assange. This is something that Obama stopped doing, I think in large part because of the New York Times problem, which is that there is a problem with going after Assange for the revelations, because those revelations were then covered by places like the New York Times. So if you're going to go after Assange for that, you're going to have to go after the New York Times for that. So we have the Obama administration, which again, people love attributing, you know, the rule of law. This guy is a constitutional lawyer. He's not allegedly, he's, you know, respects rule of law, international law. I mean, you could ask some people in Pakistan, Afghanistan if that's true, but whatever. The narrative, right, is that he's not this Cheeto Mussolini thug who's wreaking havoc on all the norms and rule of law across the land. Why is Biden siding with Pompeo, who really had it in for Assange? And that's shameful. And Biden supporters should be pressuring Biden to do the right thing and drop the case. So for the sake of his own legacy, doesn't he want to be on the side of Obama and not the side of Trump? I just don't understand it. I mean, I do understand it, but it's just infuriating. And none of these principles that people claim to care about, like a free press, matter at all, apparently.
Apparently, and sadly, sort of predictably so. Katie Halper, co-host of Useful Idiots podcast and also the host of the Katie Halper Show. Thank you, as always. It's
going to be an extra good podcast this week. Useful Idiots has yours truly as the guest.
A useful idiot himself.
Very useful idiot right here.
Thing, because if not, are we doing another clip on that? Or if not, I'll just put in the very quickly just add that this is a parallel to the Donziger case right now, which is that we're seeing another major miscarriage of justice and another meta miscarriage of justice on top of that, which is that the media has been totally silent on this. But for people who don't know about Donziger, which is pretty understandable because the media has been totally silent about this, this is an unprecedented case of corporate prosecution where Stephen Donziger, whose crime was helping sue Chevron for poisoning the waters of the northeastern Amazon, Ecuador northeastern basin, and this led to cancer and birth defects. And he made the mistake of suing Chevron. They got an unprecedented settlement of $9.5 billion against Chevron. And what happens? Chevron turns around, goes after Stephen Donziger because he dared take them on, and accuses him of fraud using a witness who himself is a fraud. And guess what? Also, like Thorderson, recants. Donziger then is, it's so Kafkaesque, it's like hard to keep track of, but Donziger then is a judge, a terrible judge, Lewis Kaplan, who you just showed a picture of, who looks like an evil Alfred Molina character. He demands that Donziger hand over his laptop and computer. Donziger refuses. He holds him in contempt. And then the federal prosecutor's office declines to prosecute Donziger. So what does Lou Kaplan, this evil judge, do, who as a lawyer was a big tobacco guy? What does he do? He, in an unprecedented move, appoints a private lawyer from a firm that has ties to Chevron to go after Donziger. And now Donziger, just last week, was sentenced by another judge. And this judge, in case you're seeing a theme here, this judge is a member of the Federalist Society, and guess who one of their major donors is? You guessed it, Chevron. She sentences him to 6 months, the maximum sentence. He's already been under house arrest for 2 years, and now he's been sentenced to 6 months in a major federal prison. And this is another outrage of justice. And I'd ask the New York Times, where are you? MSNBC, where are you? If this happened under Trump, imagine. I mean, well, actually, the Assange thing happened under Trump, so maybe I shouldn't say that. But
and
this
Donziger,
yeah. Well, right. I was about to say, if this happened under Trump, wouldn't you say something? But it's Merrick Garland. Again, you got a lot of work to do, and I'm going to beg you, for the sake of your own legacy, do the right thing. You should be dismissing the charges against Donziger. This is someone who already served time. He's been under house arrest. He has an ankle bracelet. And what's next is that he's appealing the not only the sentencing. He's appealing. He wants to stay home. He's not even asking for his freedom. He just wants to remain under house arrest until his appeal of the larger case is dismissed, and that'll take maybe 1 to 2 years. You guys have covered this on Rising. The judge is unhinged. She's a total corporate black hack lackey, and she actually said that he needed to the proverbial 2x4 between the eyes to start respecting the rule of law. And again, this is a woman who should have recused herself. The corruption in this case is stunning, and it's a very scary moment. It really is. And the lesson here is that if you dare go after Chevron, if you go after them legally, and this case was upheld by the Ecuadorian Supreme Court, if you go after them for poisoning people, then you're going to be in trouble. You're going to get disbarred, and you're going to get locked up.
Yeah.
So go to doctor.org, by the way.
Well,
Well, thank you, Katie. And we will have more Rising right after this.